And we are live. Been live for a little bit. I've just had the mic muted because the show's not supposed to start till 2. And I'm still waiting for my panel members, Skint Eastwood from England, to show up. He should be here any second. And we have a third panel member, John Snow 117, who I'm not sure will be here today or not due to his work. He might not be with us for another couple of weeks. But eventually it'll be a 3-man show. Right now it's probably just going to be me and Skint Eastwood. So anyway, how's everybody doing? It's Wednesday afternoon again. It's time for BDXP, Best Damn Xbox Podcast. I don't know if we'll keep that name or not. We might, because I don't think we're just going to be just Xbox. We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. It's our show, so you know how that goes. But for now, I already had that little nomenclature played up, so it's on there. I'm looking at it. It looks pretty good on screen with my some people call those avatars. That's just the cartoon me, courtesy of the graphic god. Yeah, I love my little picture there. And again, I'm just waiting for the other panel member to show up. He's still got about 10 minutes. I'm a little early on going live. It's pretty weird. My computer clock on my Surface Pro says it's 12:53, but my phone's showing it as 1:53. Huh. Weirdness. Yeah. All them cards and all them lying mofos that claim they're buying the 30 whatever card, and you know they're so full of shit. They're not buying that. They don't have the money. They're in their mom's basement wishing they had the money for it. But boy, they talk big online and on Twitter. Yeah, I'm getting the third and consoles are dead already again. And yeah, that's just stupid. I ain't ever playing on a computer. I like being on my couch on my 70-inch television or in front of my 4K 55-inch in a double wide recliner in comfort. Sitting at a computer desk, that's just not ever going to be me. And it's fine. Some people love that. They like that intimacy. But screw that. I like comfort. So we're going to talk about why Xbox hasn't announced their price yet, as well as Sony's not announced theirs. It's kind of tied together. We're going to do a little bit of discussion on how I could care less that I've not seen any gameplay on the Series X. I already know it's the most powerful system. I understand its specs, all the apps they have for it. It's a beast. I don't need to see any particular game playing on it. I already know everything will look and play the best on it. You can say, oh, no, these 30-something cards will play better and all that. You can't play a game on a card. Okay, you got to have a computer. And again, we've already discussed that. I ain't sitting at no desk. I'm not sure why people act like that's a big deal, spending all that money and then having to sit uncomfortably in one of those crappy gaming chairs that they pay a small fortune for. Those things are not that comfortable. My sons went through 2 or 3 of them. They don't last very long either. They wear down if you're hardcore. You play a lot. But hey, whatever. I I'm happy playing on console. I got my PS4 Pro and my Xbox One X hooked to my 4K set. The One X does it justice. And even the Pro, some games, yeah, it looked really good. But I've got an old day one model Xbox One hooked up to my 70-inch 1080p set at a day one PS4 edition, which I plan to get rid of and pick up a brand new Slim since it's the end of the generation and I can even find one. But both of those consoles are hard to find. Both companies shut down production a while back. Hell, in my area, you haven't been able to get Xboxes since like friggin' January. I mean, right after Christmas, they sold all their stock out, and they've just not restocked knowing if these new consoles were coming. I think they ran out of PlayStations March, April timeframe. But, I went to like 5 different Walmarts in East Tennessee and multiple Targets. And they just don't have them anymore. Once they sold out, they just didn't order anymore because they know the new ones are coming. Of course, how many new ones are coming remains to be seen. We know with Xbox there's going to be plenty, regardless of that stupid rumor the other day, because they put out about their carbon footprint and stuff, and 850,000 had been done to not harm the environment, but they're probably going to have about 9 million more, if not 10, 12 million that were, environmentally unfriendly, made in a Chinese sweatbox factory, polluting the air and all that. Maybe even at some Chinese prisons producing those babies. I'd like to think that my Xbox Series X was made in a Chinese prison. That'd be cool. But no, that company, they don't use, well, they might use prison workers, but well, on the Sony side, I know they do. On the Xbox side, yeah, they got to actually pay the people a little bit of money. But whatever. Man, it's getting close, and my panel member Skin Eastwood not showing up yet. He's still got about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Hopefully he'll come back in. He was on here with me earlier in a pre kind of discussing what we were going to do on the show today and all that. He said he had to go do something and he'd be back, but let's just hope he's not gotten the time thing wrong, because he is in England and he's in the evening time over there. But whether he comes back or not, the show will go on. I will do a one-man podcast until he shows up. But yeah, I've sent him a little message from Twitter there saying, hey, I'm up and running when you're ready. All right, it is officially 2 p.m. I'm calling it. Show is started. We are officially live. We have one person watching. Boy, that's pretty sad. I've sent out a tweet. This is hard to get people when they don't know. My channel is so small. I've been off not doing content for so long. And Mr. Eastwood said he will show up shortly. He just sent me a DM. Cool. All right. We're on waiting for him. So a little pre Xbox, Best Damn Xbox podcast talk. How about this? The GameCube. Let's talk some GameCube. First of all, it had the second best controller in the history of all controllers. The best is the original Xbox One controller. Okay, that is the best controller of all time. And I'm not counting these stupid special edition $250, $300 friggin' controllers, which is just ridiculous. I'm talking about stock controllers that come with your console when you buy it. The GameCube's had the second best of all time. I mean, some people cry about the plus button, right, left, up, down. It's pretty small. Yeah, it's very small, but you know what? It's okay. It works fine. It just fits in your hands like a glove. Great controller, great console. Got a pretty sweet Wii. It's got a hard drive. It's got every GameCube game on it, as well as every Wii game. Even the ones that were only downloadable, those are on an SD card in it. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. But I've got a straight up regular GameCube that's unmodded, no hacks. I have about 50 GameCube games. Need more. But since I have them all on that hard drive with my Wii, I'm not going out and wasting no money on games. Some of those prices on used games are just stupid. But I've got the disc with the to play the Game Boy Advance games, which is awesome, through the GameCube. So I have it on one shelf. And then my Wii with hard drive on the shelf right beside of it. But amazing, amazing games. I know there was the OG Xbox out at that time, and the PS2 just dominated everything with, hey, they were the only ones smart enough to put a damn DVD player in it originally. I mean, even the Xbox, you had to do shit to get it to play DVDs. It was not smart on their part. Definitely not smart on Nintendo's part with those tiny discs. They should have went with full size and had a DVD player. I mean, it's what killed the Dreamcast. Let's be honest. The Dreamcast sold great until the PS2 dropped, but if the Dreamcast would have had a DVD player, it would have kept selling, and everything would have changed. But Sega's fear of being hacked, and they were hacked anyway, and people modded their consoles. It was real easy to do it on Dreamcast. It still is. And you don't have to do no soldering and wires to play. You can play everything. Burned games. Now you just put SD cards and hard drives onto your Dreamcast, and you can load up the entire library. That's what most of the old consoles, with EverDrives and devices like that. And that's, it's not even emulation. That's that playing the real ROMs on real hardware. It's no different than having that cartridge. And these are dead systems, so it's not like you're taking money out of companies' pockets. Would never play a modern modded console, but once they're dead, and the company no longer makes that, and no major game company is making games for them, and hey, that's when they're wide open to be hacked, modded for homebrew and playing games. Got no problem with that. Man, I love those EverDrives. Holy smoke, they're so cool. I don't know what they've got like that for the GameCube. I know you can mod a GameCube, but I'm not getting in there, and I don't want to send mine off to be done. But because the Wii made it so easy to play GameCube games, yeah, didn't see no reason to ever have my GameCube modded. So I'm fine with that. And I don't know what everybody else thinks about that. If you want to get in the chat and pop in, I got a couple of people listening. Hopefully, tweet out for me and let people know this show is on. Skint will be here soon. We'll have some discussions with him. I don't even know his real name. He goes by Skint Eastwood online. But I've known him on Twitter for a long time. He's a solid Xbox guy, so but he's not negative towards PlayStation and all that. And I'm just wondering who came first, Colt Eastwood or Skint Eastwood. I know Skint might be a little older. Not as old as me. I'm old as dirt. But, yeah, Skint's been around. But it's going to make for a fabulous podcast. Having him as a primary panel member and Jon Snow 117 also. I'm not sure where John 117's from. He's an Xbox ambassador, so yeah, he's a serious Xbox guy. Phoenix, Arizona, so he's in the States. So yeah. So we'll have Arizona, Tennessee, and I think Skint said he was from Windsor, England. So yeah, pretty diverse. We may pick up another panel member later on. We'll see. 3 may be enough. I always, like 3. Yeah, 5, 6, 8 on some podcasts. You might want to hear from a particular person. It takes forever to get back around to them. And yeah, I don't care how long about the shows runs much longer when they got that many people. I'm not worried about that. Even with 3, you can easily do a 2-hour show. I'm more concerned with, in a timely manner, people getting to address whatever topic you're on. And with just 3 people, I like that, It's like Jess Gordon and Randall Thor, just 2 people. They do a great job just back and forth. The 3-man show like we did with Next Generation Podcast. Now we're 4 with Wandering Dutch. That's not changed too much with the 4th member. That'll be coming up this Friday, by the way, 2 o'clock, maybe 2:33. I don't know. It starts whenever, but it's on Fridays now, but looking forward to that. Because we are on the final stretch for Next Generation. Holy moly. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We're just waiting for Skint to get here. So I don't want to delve too deep in it. I started out talking a little bit about the GameCube. Only because line of sight, I'm sitting here looking at mine. So it was like, got to talk about something until my partner gets here. Let's talk about AliExpress. Man, I love that place. I just bought another guitar. I got a Stratocaster, a blonde Strat, like Jimmy played, and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and many others. I'm going to order a real Marshall amp to go with it. Marshall amp, I'm going to get at Amazon. It's got an 8-inch speaker in it, only 15 watt, because I just want for myself to make noise on. I'm going to do my own theme song, by the way. I've got a imitation Chinese Gibson Les Paul 58, like a $300,000 guitar, if it was real, in mint condition. I think I paid $150 for it, but it looks real. It's pretty awesome. But I'm gonna bang out some noise on it for an intro theme. So here in probably, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I gotta compose it, so it's, and play it and tweak it and play it, tweak it, play it, tweak it, and so I get what I like, and then we'll have a proper opening with some kick-ass guitar. But the Marshall is going to go with my Gibson Les Paul, because that's how Jimmy Page did it in Zeppelin on tour. The Stratocaster is going to get a Fender 10-watt amp. And then next will be, I'm going to get a Telecaster. And I've got a Vox amp for that. I already have the Vox amp. I just don't have the Telecaster yet. And then I got an Ibanez that actually sounds really down and dirty. It sounds just like a Marshall amp. But I think I might get a Flying V for that one. I mean, God, I love Chinese knockoffs. Oh, here he is. Hold on.
Hi, Mojo.
Yep, we are live and you are loud and clear. So, you go by Skit? You want to, or do you go by the other name? Like I don't really go by Mojo. I go more by Jake, which is also a nickname, but I have many nicknames. But most people online only know me as Mojo. So,
yeah they just know me as Skint, really. Just Skint Eastwood. Yeah.
Right. That's what we'll go with. And again, for the viewers, where in England you're at? You told me earlier, but we'll let you tell the audience.
Yeah, I'm from a little town in England called Windsor. You might know it because the Queen lives there.
That's why I was waiting for you. I said Windsor, but I wasn't 100% sure when I told them that. But yeah, cool. How far is that from London?
About 22, 23 miles away.
Oh, that's close then. Cool.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, just jump on a train.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I miss that from Europe and even in Asia, jumping on trains and going places. You really can't do that in America. I mean, there's no Amtrak station where I live. I'd literally have to drive like 2 hours away to get to an Amtrak station. And then, God, you can't just, so complicated to get from point A to point B. You might have to go through multiple other cities. It's a pain in the ass.
Wow.
Yeah, they train service in the U.S. has been always about raw supplies, goods, box cars and coal cars and stuff like that, transporting that kind of stuff across the country. That's how the train companies make their money and have always made their money in the U.S. Passenger trains have just never been a big thing. Each big cities have their own subway systems that sometimes, you know, but as far as the national rail system, it's never been very good.
Oh, it's no better here, really. So, how's Mojo?
I'm doing good. I talked about the GameCube while we were waiting for you, so but we can jump in the first topic. I think it's on the title of the video too. Is why no price and release date? Well, we kind of know the release date. I mean, we know it's in November, but that's a no-brainer. But and I think for sure both systems are going to be $500. I just do. I don't see any way around that. They're not going to. Neither one of them is going to go all the way to 600. But I don't know if like Sony's discless one, they can sell it say 400. I don't know. I'm assuming the S Series S will be 300 US. So, and the X will be 500 US. So maybe the Sony one will be 5 and 4. I don't know if they can go all the way down to 4. It might have to be 450 because you're not saving a lot of money just taking the disk drive out. And I lost him for a second. Hopefully he'll pop right back in. We shall see. But yeah, anybody in the chat want to comment on that, what they think? But I believe without a doubt, $499 for the primary systems and $300 for the S and maybe $450 for the discless PS5. Because I don't see Sony losing money on anything they sell. They're not big on losing money. And they count on console sales to help them out as a company. Whereas Xboxes, they're more worried about the software and the services money they're going to earn. So they don't need to sell 100 million to be a success. They just got to have enough subscribers signed up for Game Pass and their other stuff. I have the Game Pass Ultimate, and I'll end up keeping it whenever it runs out. That's a pretty good deal, and he's back. There you go. You're back live.
So I don't know what happened then.
Hey, it's the internet. Stuff drops.
I was going to say, if you hear any weird noise in the background, it's probably the aeroplanes. I'm right by Heathrow.
Cool.
Yeah, the price point. I think really 600 would be danger zone, really.
Yeah, I agree. It's although we're at a time. I mean, it's been a long time since that PS3, and when they debuted that one model of 600, they actually had a cheaper model. But if you wanted the best model, it was 600. But that was too early. People rebelled, but that's been a long, long time ago. And you know what I'm saying? That was what 2005, 2006. I don't know whenever it debuted, but it. And of course, Xbox had already been out for a year and was only like $350. So that's what killed them too. Well, we can just get an Xbox. It's much cheaper. And to be honest, the 360 just destroyed the PS3 in every way possible, regardless of the PS3 being, on paper more powerful. Well, it wasn't just on paper. It was more powerful, a lot more. But it wasn't built very well. And as far as designing games for it. So yeah. But Sony eventually got the price down, got their primary studios pumping out games for it. So they caught up and actually supposedly sold more. Supposedly, I never trust Sony's numbers. They're there's a worldwide manufacturer. They've been known to fudge their numbers on stuff. I don't trust them for a heartbeat. Who knows how many units they sell in Sri Lanka? In fact, who cares though? When they talk about 105 million PS4 sold, I don't
That's
care.
amazing, isn't it?
How many they sell in England? How many they sell in the US? How many they sell in Canada? How many they sell in Australia? That's about it. I don't care how many they sold in Sri Lanka or anywhere in Indonesia. Just don't care because that has no meaning. Those people aren't buying brand new games as they come out. They're not generating money for Sony. Xbox don't even hit those tiny markets and stuff, and they know, it's not a winning proposition because even if they sold the consoles there, they're not making any money on them, and then they're just going to get hacked, and then the software will be,
Yeah.
And I've been to those places. I know. And I was there during the 360 and the PS3 era, and I still have it to this day. I've got a modded Xbox 360 and a modded PS3 for that matter, with lots of games on them. And you just don't. Those places just get away with doing that kind of stuff. Now you can't go online. That's how Microsoft solved the whole piracy problem. Was like, hey, they go online, we got them, and that was pretty smart of them the way they do it. And Sony followed suit. So this whole PS4, Xbox One generation, nobody cared if they got modded or hacked or whatever, because you ain't gonna be able to play online. Even single player games sometimes force you got to be online, and it's been their saving grace on the piracy.
Yeah, I agree.
But a lot of them servers get shut off, and once we move to the PS5 and the Series X, well, see, that's where Microsoft kept theirs all tied together. An Xbox One is an Xbox One is an Xbox One. So I'm thinking you won't be able to hack it so easily, even long after it's a dead system, because there'll be games that'll, what you got now will continue to play on it, and so it'll be the same kind of problems. It's just 2 years from now or 3 years from now, you won't be able to get the latest and greatest, won't play on them. But Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be able to get modded ones. Maybe the PS4, because I've heard that there's already hacked ones out there, modded ones, and you don't need to be online for most of their big single player games. I know with me, I've got a couple hundred games on there, but I only actually have what I consider like 10 or 11 games that I've bought for the PS4 that are so-called bangers.
Yeah, your go-to games. Yeah.
Yeah, I buy those on disc and have them, and then all the freebie crap they give you and stuff that's online, I'll download. But yeah, I usually don't play none of that. I just play their main big stuff. Sometimes my PS4 stays shut off for months, and then I'll go on a binge and buy 2-3 games that I'm behind on and get them played.
I used to be a right sucker for that. I used to be, when I was younger, I used to literally buy every single game that came out, regardless. But I'm a bit more careful with the money now, you know.
Yeah, I way overbought back in the day, and then I went during probably starting at the PS1 era, not buying everything, and then later on picking up stuff much cheaper, whether it be
Yeah,
used or whatever. But and then building up my library, the last half of the console's life cycle.
yeah, that's right. It's all down to patience. I mean, as you get older, you realise that, you know. Uh, I do tend to listen to the critics a bit more these days and watch reviews, and I'm a bit more careful with the money these days.
Now, I did buy quite a few GameCube games back then. I don't know why, I just did, but I didn't buy hardly anything for the. Well, I ended up having a modded X or not X, an Xbox, but the
Mm.
PS2, I didn't ever got it modded till years after. You know, it was during the PS4 already had been out before I ever got a PS2 modded. And I put a hard drive in it, but it's only got like a handful of games that I actually owned. I've been meaning to go online and download. It just takes forever and it's a pain in the butt. So I just till I find somebody that's like selling a hard drive full of games, I haven't cared.
Mm.
And I know those are available. You can buy a hard drive already full of PS2 games and then just slide it into that back slot on your PS2. Open it up and set that hard drive in there. And if you've got it modded correctly, it'll all. But I haven't cared. That's why I
So
love the back compat stuff on the Xbox has. That's so great playing OG Xbox games. Hopefully they're going to add more of them. It's not just going to be the handful or a few that they've got right now.
yeah, I think they should do, really. I mean, there's some gems there.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're getting their money when they do that. I buy them, even though I don't need them. I've got an OG Xbox with every single OG Xbox game that come out on a hard drive.
Yeah.
Yet when they drop an OG Xbox game back compat, I buy it. They get my money. So
Yeah.
I bought a lot of 360 games that I never bought originally that I bought back compat. And I buy all those what is it, ACA Neo Geo games. God, I've got a ton of those on my Xbox. But they're cheap and I love Neo Geo, so it's a no-brainer when the right kind of game.
Yeah, this I've been hearing some rumors that they're thinking of bringing back Xbox Arcade for the next gen. That would be nice. I quite enjoyed that, really.
Yeah, they need to do something like that in some way where you can get like $20 games that are.
Yeah, some small games. So they're quite genius, really. Put a lot of work into those little things.
And their indie selection has been pretty good. They,
Yeah,
sorry, the beginning of the gen was all about the indies, but Xbox has been pretty solid all the way through, and they've got a really good program, so that's going to continue on. And of course, sometimes in some of those little indie games, they want too much money for them.
yeah. There's a fair few from Microsoft, and Xbox have the last, like you say, the last couple of years, they've really hammered them, really, haven't they? I mean, they're pumping them out.
Yeah, some of them have been amazing. Some of I don't really like the ones that try to imitate 8-bit. I just like that pixel art. I'm not the biggest fan of. It's okay, but
Yeah, I
I
get you.
prefer 16-bit and forward, and even like 32-bit level, like Sega Saturn graphics is what I really love. I'm like, if I'm a small company making games, and I want to do retro, I'm targeting that 32-bit look that the Saturn and PS1 had,
Yeah.
particularly the Saturn. They did 2D games so amazing. The 3D games just looked like crap on the PS1 and the Saturn. And
Yeah.
those games did not hold up. They look horrible. I've got that PS1 mini, and goodness, the games just, they just did not hold up.
Yeah, 2D like side scrollers are brilliant even to this day. I mean, Streets of Rage make a comeback as well. You know, they are good games.
Yeah, the ones that try to do the 8-bit pixel art, I'm like, some
Yeah,
of them are really good, but I just like, come on, go 16 or 30-bit with that same 32-bit with that same game, and it's not going to cost them that much more to do that.
no,
If
just
it
a
costs
little
them
bit
any
more
more, I don't
work.
think it would cost them anything to.
Yeah, they are fun games.
But my hard drive's full of all that kind of stuff. I've bought a ton of the retro stuff on the Xbox One. So much so, I'm actually running a couple of hard drives. One of them's already completely full, and the internal, I think there's still about half a terabyte on my internal.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one external. Got about a quarter left on it.
Yeah, I've got piles and piles of game on my hard drive, 2 terabytes, but it seems to just eat it and eat it up. It just makes you think about what's going to happen with next gen, really. I mean, we've got to go big, haven't we? These
Yeah,
games are going to take up a lot of memory.
hopefully that those memory cards / separate mini hard drive thing that's 1 terabyte. Hopefully they'll eventually have a 2 terabyte version of that, or a 4 terabyte at a reasonable price that you can just pop into your Series X and have plenty of storage space. But I think until then, I'm going to buy the one that they sell at launch, which is just a 1 terabyte one. And I'm thinking it's going to be around 100 US, maybe 120. And so the internal and that thing together will be for the newest, latest, whatever's great.
What's the do you know the internal memory at all? I don't know.
It's 1 terabyte, so you're going to get about
Okay.
900 gigabyte usable, 950. I don't know. The operating system's not that big on the Xbox. Doesn't take up that much space, and they fixed it now, and it's fast and snappy, so it should be even better on the Series X. But
Yeah.
and then the internal one's a full 1 terabyte. The one that's like a memory card that you just pop into it. So I'm, like I said, that's where it's going to be like my AAA or quadruple A games, and then everything else I'm just going to keep on. I'm going to buy a couple of SSDs that are
Yeah.
decent size, but not too expensive.
So for
Maybe
your retro games, if you
get a
like.
2 terabyte, then another 2 terabyte later, and then everything else will be on those, and I'll just have to transfer them if I want to play something.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
And I guess you could even use current hard drives that are not SSD, since you're just using them to store the games, and you got to move them over to your internal SSD if you're going to play them. I don't know what the difference.
They say all the accessories are compatible from Xbox One to Series X.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So your hard drives you got right now, you'll be able to plug right in.
Oh, right, really? Okay.
They're going to work. But now you'll have to move some of the games, if they're Xbox One X games that use the SSD. You'll have to put those those have to be on your internal hard drive. It has to be on that SSD. But your older games that play now, they'll play right from your hard drive you have now on the Series X. They don't have
Cool.
to be transferred. You just still have load times and stuff. If you want the faster load times and all that, those games will have to be updated, and then some of them will have to be run from an SSD. I've got a 500 gigabyte SSD right now, but I don't have it hooked up to my Xbox. It's on my Surface Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I don't use it for nothing. I don't think I have anything on it. I've still got plenty of internal space on my laptop, so to speak, or more than just a laptop. It's that Surface Pro. I got the 6. I think I'll keep it at least for another year or two, and then upgrade to whatever's good at that time. If I even do that, I don't play games on computer. I'm strictly a console guy. So I'm mostly using my Surface Pro for podcasts and, ordering stuff off Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last game I played on a PC. I mean, I did start out on the PC, but this is mega years ago now. I mean, I jumped when I think it was PlayStation 1, maybe before that, because just simple and easy, the console. It was just easier for me.
Oh yeah, I like plug and play, and
Plug and play, that's right.
I don't want to have to, like, now my Surface Pro. Right before I started the show today, I noticed it was like begging. It wanted updates, and I'm like, oh crap, no, I'm not doing no update. It'll mess stuff up. And luckily, it didn't go into it on its own, and I didn't click. It just said it needed attention for updates. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. Maybe after the show, Well, no, I'm doing Wilmy Hood's show tonight at 8:00. So yeah, I'm not gonna let this thing update or it'll get screwed up. I'll do it tomorrow. This is like my
Yeah,
PlayStation 4. I downloaded about 30 free, those little crap free games that are all on there. There's tons of stuff that I'd never downloaded, and I finally hit download on a bunch of them, and I'm just running it right now off the Wi-Fi. It's not even hardwired, and one of the games was actually a real game, a big one. One of the free ones you get each month, but it said like 99 hours before it'd be fully downloaded. But I think it was saying that because there was 2 or 3 games in front of it. I'm hoping anyway that's why it said that. But I found that when you put it in standby, it didn't keep downloading those games. It'll only download system updates when you've got it in standby mode. Whereas Xbox will just keep downloading everything, whether you got it on or off or whatever. If it's hooked to the internet, yeah. And I found that, man, stuff just downloads way faster onto my X than it ever did on the PS4 Pro that I got, or the standard PS4.
yeah.
So I see why Sony wanted to get the faster SSD and stuff like that. They needed to, because the PS4 is just horrible when you start downloading stuff. And I've got decent speed. I got decent internet here. Although I'm moving in October, and I called the cable company that's got the contract for the area I'm moving to, and I'll be able to upgrade to the gigabit, whatever.
Yeah, oh, lovely. Yeah, we moved a couple of years ago, and when we first moved in, it was like we was running on a really crappy internet connection, and it was around about the time that Forza Horizon 4 had been released, and I was downloading it, and it said something crazy like 2 days are ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous time to wait for this game to download. And sure enough, eventually I got the fiber connected, but I was just dying to play that game.
Yeah, mine cable here is hang on, I gotta come out of YouTube. I was watching her show, which I don't really need to do. I've got it up on my laptop and I had it up on my TV. But anybody that pops in, man, give us a shout out, tweet it out, people message. We got to start building up an audience here. Let me go to settings. I want to see what my cable runs here. It's I'm checking my speed right now. It's not bad here, but it's not nowhere near 1 gigabit or gigabyte or whatever it is, 1 gigabit. So I'm going to end up like tripling my speed when I move. Should be right around 15 October. I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice luxury 3-bedroom apartment with
beautiful
all the amenities and swimming pool and all that kind of stuff. I've got right now, I'm showing 215 megabits down and only 10 megabits up. And I'm going to be going to 1 gigabit down and
wow,
I think 100.
that's crazy.
200 megabits up when I move to the new place. And it'll be, the cost is going to be basically the same, about $50 a month, give or take. So yeah, but what I got works really well.
No problem there.
And that's wireless right now. Well, I don't have the wire is actually hooked to my laptop for this podcast. And I normally run wired if I'm not going to be playing a game or anything. I just from my router, I've got one wire runs to my son's computer setup, and then I have another one that I share between multiple devices in here. I've got a really like 60-foot. I don't know if it's that long, but it seems like it is because I can take it all the way to the living room and hook it to my big TV in there if I need the wired internet. But most of my stuff worked wirelessly fine, even with this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to chance it, especially when I'm playing a decent game. Like,
yeah, I would never play the games wirelessly. And PlayStation 4, I can't even download stuff with unless I've got it hooked to the wire to it. It just, yeah. For whatever
I came into
reason,
the online gaming quite late. To be fair, I didn't really. The first game I think I played was Halo 3. I mean, that wasn't that long ago, really, was it? When that came out, so.
I'm not much of an online guy. I don't play hardly any of the multiplayer stuff. It's weird that I'm not a Sony guy because I love single player games. And that's mostly what I play now. I mean, like all the Halos, I played all the campaigns, but I don't ever go play, online multiplayer. Some of these, I mean, I played a little bit of PUBG here and there when it first came out, but
yeah, I had a go at that.
Yeah, I wasn't very good, and I was always getting killed too quick, so I was like, eventually just stopped playing.
Yeah, we're in the same boat there. Same as. But yeah, Halo 3. I mean, that was probably the only game I really loved online. And other than that, like you say, it's single player games.
But yeah, that's why I want to get the Xbox first, and I'm not so much worried about getting the PlayStation 5 because I just think there's going to be way more games available at the start of the gen for the Xbox because of their back compat program and.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I just think they got more games lined up. Just because they lost Halo, people were freaking out, but I'm like, just calm down. They'll fix Halo. It'll come out. It'll be fine. But until then, you're still the console that looks and plays everything the best, and it's got a massive library from day one. Whereas with Sony, you're not going to get PS1, 2, or 3 games. I don't think you're even going to get all the PS4 games at first. I think you're only going to get a handful.
Yeah,
they'll add the rest of the PS4 as it goes along, and to be honest, you'll have to download all those. Well, I guess you can still buy the actual real disc.
Yeah, people forget that the launch windows, like usually the launch window is around 3 months. It's not like you're going to get it within day one for any system really. But mainly, I've noticed a lot of my friends they play third-party games anyway. So, and half of them, well, three-quarters of them have PlayStations, and you want the best, and play the Xbox.
Yeah, and they look. Oh man, they look. I just know the difference because I got both systems, and I got a Pro and the X, and stuff just looks better on the X.
Yeah. Are you playing through a TV or monitor? Or...
Yeah, I got it through a 4K Samsung curved
Oh yeah.
model, 55
Yeah, I got a
inch.
Samsung.
I set about 4 foot in front of, maybe 5 foot. I don't know. Pretty close to it, so it makes it feel bigger. And I'm just using a little crappy sound bar, although I've got a nice Canadian company put out speakers, Energy. It's these little tiny ones and with dual subwoofers. But for whatever reason, in this place where I'm living now, I just never wanted to hook all that up.
Mm.
But once we move, yeah, I'm
Once you move, yeah.
get rid of that sound bar and run those wires. I think that's why I didn't want to do it, because I didn't feel like running all that speaker wire. Because I bought extra Energy speakers, so I'd have enough so I'd be able to run Atmos. Right now, I don't have a receiver that even has Atmos on it, but eventually, if I get one, I've already got all those Energy speakers ready, and I can just on the front, right and left, set a second one on top of it with it slightly tilted, and do the same for the rear.
Yeah, I'm running mine on a nice Sony amp, but it's not Atmos. It's, you know, your traditional surround sound, which is nice enough, you know. Maybe I'll invest later.
Yeah, the little sound bar I got, I ain't complaining against. In fact, it's an LG, because I had an LG 4K TV before this one, but it turned out it wasn't real 4K. It was like LG was faking it, and I had to get rid. I had to sell it and buy this one, the TV I got now. But anyway, I kept the sound bar. But later on, I bought an Atmos Samsung, very crazy expensive sound bar, but it ran everything through HDMI, and my setup just didn't like that for some reason. Running, even though it was a Samsung product, a Samsung TV, I've got one of those little boxes where you plug all your shit into the box, and that HDMI just, man, I got sound dropouts and just had all kinds of problems with it, and I just returned it and put this little, you know, and it did sound better than the LG one. It went way deeper, and at that point, I only had a couple movies that had Atmos on it, so I didn't notice any. Yeah, to be honest, that didn't like impress me much at all. But they were very early in Atmos.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, yeah, now I would. You can actually get a Amazon selling a refurb Atmos soundbar with subwoofer and from Vizio. It's like $160. I think it had originally been like $250 or $280 or something, but they're selling. They always seem to have it there, plenty of them. Of course, that worries me. If they had that many that have been refurbed, it's like, oh, maybe it's not a good quality product. But
yeah,
it got good reviews. That it's like, hey, this is a inexpensive way of getting Atmos in a sound bar. Because some of those they go for like $1,200, $1,500 for a freaking sound bar.
Yeah, I know.
My when back in 2013 when these consoles dropped, I got a Polk soundbar that was for Xbox, and it has gaming setup on it and a movie setup, and didn't come with a subwoofer, but it came with an external. You can hook a subwoofer up to it, but this is one of the biggest soundbars at that time I'd ever seen, and you can yeah, even without a subwoofer, this thing just rocked. So I knew, oh man, there is such thing as high quality sound bars. But yeah, I had it up to a big old it wasn't even 1080p. It was a 720p high def television by JVC using DLP technology, you know, which is much more movie theater like. And I still have that TV to this day, and like DVDs and things like that played on it, upscaled to 720p, look amazing and very film like. And so I keep it in a spare bedroom I don't watch it very much, but every once in a while, I throw some stuff on it. But I've mostly either watch the 4K set or the big TV in the living room because I got a 70-inch Vizio that was pretty decent at the time when I bought it.
Nice. I remember that first jump down to was standard to 720p. That was for me. I mean, it was a shock. I couldn't believe how nice it looked. I mean, I think it was Dead Rising. I think it was I was playing. I put that on, and after seeing it, I never went back. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah,
And that's only 720p. The leap was huge.
Those sets, the manufacturers intentionally made pre-high def content look worse when you let the TV upscale it. Say if you put in a DVD on all those original sets back when HD first came out, regular television just looked horrible, and they did that on purpose. They put really bad upscalers in there so that people would go, "Oh, that's garbage. I've got to have an HD TV and HD source." But
That's tricks of the trade. That is.
Yeah, but this generation with 4K, they did the exact opposite because there wasn't going to be any 4K content when they first started selling 4K sets for a while. So they put really good upscalers in these things. So even DVDs look amazing upscaled to 4K by your television, although still not as good as putting a Blu-ray in. Blu-ray is kind of what you want. You want to go from that 1080p, let it upscale to 4K. And sometimes I can't even tell the difference. I've double dipped on some Blu-rays into 4K, and I'm like, you don't really need to do that. But DVDs, yeah, you kind of do. In fact, I did a test today. I was watching a horror movie review show, and they were showing clips from an Italian horror movie by Felucci, the New York Ripper.
Yeah.
Good Lord, the clips that they were showing looked amazing. Just pristine, widescreen, and look great. And I'm like, man, I have that on DVD. I don't remember my DVD looking at anything. I'm like, you know what? I hit pause because it's been on this particular clip's been on the internet for a while. I went and got my DVD and put it in, and holy crap, when it came up, yeah, it was like a layer of Vaseline smeared over the screen. It was just, I'm like, wow. And I thought, and this was a special edition DVD that was supposed to have been remastered and look great. And but it didn't. And I could see like lines going up and down, scratches on the film. And yeah, it wasn't remastered at the time when I bought the DVD. I thought it was. But then with this Blu-ray that they were showing that they had their clips from, it did look amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to replace some of my DVDs. I'm going to have to jump up to 4K. But most of my Blu-rays, I'm not going to do it because there's just not that big a difference. So that's why I only have maybe 20 or 30 movies that are in 4K. I'm real selective. If I already have a good Blu-ray version of it, I'm not buying the 4K version. But at the same time, I worry because companies like Sony, I shouldn't say Sony, companies like Disney, all them Fox movies, they bought Fox out and they put all the Fox movies into their vault. And they're like, we're not putting those out on disc. You're just tough. You're screwed. Every 5 to 10 years, we'll put it on our streaming channel, in 4K. And you can watch it there, but you're not going to get it on disc. They're trying to force people to pay their online streaming service, and they're going to use their massive library of stuff to get away with that. Now, right now, because Marvel's so big and popular, they know they got to release that stuff on disc. They're going to make X amount of money off of it on those initial releases. But don't expect second and third printings for that stuff. They're just going to end up going into the Disney vaults and be on their streaming channel. But you'll still be able to get Marvel and Star Wars stuff on disc when X amount of time after the movie's been out. But you're not going to be able to get any of the Fox stuff. So any movie that was by Fox, if it's not already out on Blu-ray or 4K, you're not getting it. It's in the Disney vault, and it's going to sit there until they want to put it on their streaming channel. It's a
Yeah.
really horrible decision and very, very crappy by Disney. But it's they own that stuff now. They can do whatever they want with it. Thank God I got like Logan and Die Hard, and I've got a handful of Fox movies that you know on 4K because everything going forward and all their old. I hate because they're old catalog. I mean, Fox has been around since the 30s.
Yeah.
And Disney now owns all that. So none of those movies are ever going to get transferred to. Well, they'll do 4K restorations. They're just not going to sell it on disc. You'll have to, hope they put it on their streaming channel.
Yeah. It's all money. It's all money.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Game Pass then, Mojo? And I keep hearing a lot of negativity.
I love Game Pass.
Yeah, me
I
too.
was lucky enough because I'm retired from the Air Force. I got a free. I can't remember if it was a year and a half or 2 years of the regular Xbox Gold stuff, and because I had gotten that through this company that was just basically giving that stuff away to people in the military, whether you're active duty or retired, right about the time when Game Pass just said, "Hey, we're going to take this your time you've got," and they basically doubled it and gave me their ultimate Game Pass. And because originally when it came out, I didn't want it. I'm like, no, that's not for me. I like to own my games.
Yeah.
And then I realized that no, I don't. I'm being in Game Pass, especially if it's an Xbox game. They stay in there forever. Now, there's been a couple of times where games were, third party that was about to go out, and I was like, crap, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. And then some of them I let go and I never bought that I've got to pick up, but a couple I went ahead and bought. But the majority is like, man, that it's great.
Yeah, it's a good catalog, isn't it? I mean,
And it keeps me letting to fill up my hard drive. I'll play it for however long for a few days. And even if I'm not completed it, I'm ready to move on to something else. I just delete it off, and then I can re-download it if I want to play it again.
Exactly, it's so easy, and it's there's something on there for everyone, and they're good. They're keeping it, they're updating it all the time.
Yeah, I just think it's a great deal for somebody that, especially if you're hurting on money. I've always said that, like that in the U.S., that single mom who's working at like a restaurant as a waitress or something and not making much money, and she got 2 little kids. You know what? She can go buy this upcoming Series S, or she could buy the current Xbox S, and then get Game Pass, and she can afford that $10 a month or $15 a month. And their kids got the latest, greatest games and can play. They don't get that information out there. I've talked to people in those situations and told them about it, and they had no idea. Because Microsoft, even though they do advertise Game Pass heavily, they're not advertising it they're advertising it to people like me and you, and we already know about it, and we know it's good. They got to figure out how to get that information out to the mass public. And so Microsoft sucks it up and says, you know what? We got to advertise on regular television and pay for these commercials and put it on during daytime, during whether it's soap operas or Oprah or whatever talk shows or whatever that demographic is for. They got to start advertising on those things about it, but they don't right now. They only advertise occasionally on Walking Dead when it's running new episodes, and Monday night or the NFL. And even with the NFL, it's mostly about Surface products, not so much Xbox. But yeah, they don't want to spend that money on TV, and Sony's on everything. You can go to any cable channel, network, cable, whatever, whether it's 3 a.m. or 2 p.m, and Sony's advertising. They spend the money, and that's why they sell the most consoles and games.
Yep.
I don't know. Microsoft figured out that they wasn't selling enough games and consoles to pay for that, but they only advertise on the internet where it's dirt cheap, and only people who are on the internet see it. So it's like that woman that works at that restaurant as a waitress, she not seeing that. Her kids aren't seeing it. Well, her kids might be, but she ain't seeing it. She don't know about it. And they're not advertising in the right places. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'd have thought a little while ago that with this lack of first-party games at launch, it wouldn't be a bad idea really to, launch the console with maybe 3 months free subscription from Game Pass.
oh yeah, at
It'd
least
get the
3
ball
months
rolling,
should
wouldn't it?
be. And then and get them. Then at that point, offer them a $9.99 a month for just basic Game Pass, and then 15 for the Ultimate, where they'll be able to
Yeah,
do the hook your phone up to your controller or whatever and play anywhere. But
yeah, I agree. That for me, that would work. You
but
put the
again, they
message out
just
there.
need to advertise on regular television and spend that money. They just won't do it for some reason. I don't know. Maybe this new guy, he's now had a few months since he's been back at Xbox. Maybe he'll set up a big marketing campaign, as it gets closer. Sony's already started their television campaign for the PS5. I've been seeing commercials everywhere for the PS5 on regular television, not just the internet. So they're already doing it, but I've not seen a single Xbox commercial on regular television. I've seen a couple things on the internet, in between, when I click on a show, then maybe an Xbox advertisement comes on. But
It's the same thing all the time with Microsoft, though. They are very weak when it comes to advertising. I've noticed it every generation. It's
well,
a
no,
shame, and I don't know
during
why.
the 360, they spent some money. They were on
Oh
television.
yeah,
They did the ads then, but they didn't during the OG Xbox, and they certainly didn't the Xbox
I
One.
remember. Yeah, they marketed the hell out of Gears of War. That's for sure. That
Yeah,
worked. You know.
I still think Gears of War is the greatest franchise on Xbox. It's not Halo. Uh,
Mm.
it's just not. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm more of a
Oh
Gears
yeah, yeah,
than a Halo fan. Although I like Halo, but I like the campaigns. I always felt they were too short. But I've also thought the same thing of Gears. Those campaigns are too short. Make them. But it's a money thing. I guess it's all about multiplayer and not campaign. So
yeah. The longevity of gaming. Yeah, I love their cover system. Like when that came out for Gears of War, that was a breaker. It was so new. It wasn't copying anyone.
no, and it just and having chainsaws and being able to do stuff. Yeah, it was an amazing game, and I know the last two have only been. I mean, they've looked great, they play great, but the stories. No one really cares about his son JD, and no one cares about that chick they've made the star now. Uh,
Yeah.
they just. I'm sorry, I just don't.
No,
Can't
I agree.
is I just don't care about those characters like I did
No.
the first three games. I
I
cared about all
tried.
those
I tried.
characters.
I really tried hard to try and relate to the new characters, but I just wasn't warming to them. You know.
Yeah, no one did, and I think they didn't realize that, and they didn't have the same writers and things by then, and yeah, it shows. Uh, they only had the one main guy in charge, but yeah, they had too many people had left, and
Yeah.
but at least they still had the main guy, and he made sure the quality of the games, as far as the graphics and all that, held up, and the gameplay
Yeah.
was good. So they've been fine as a franchise, and hopefully they'll take an extra year, if not 2 years, before the next one drops, and they conclude the Kate or this cast 3-part games, and then maybe take another extended break before they do another cast of characters, and then they finally get some writers in there to make some people interesting that you care about. I mean, that's
Yeah.
been the problem with Halo too. I'm happy they brought back this Joseph Staten, who wrote the early games at Bungie, but it's too late. He's not going to rewrite this current game, this Infinity. But it is a 10-year thing, they're saying. So hopefully, once the game is out and they start doing, every year and a half, 2 years, a new big update, he'll be the one writing those and stuff for them, and they'll get some good Halo stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Halo's never really been about the graphics, as far as I'm concerned. But it's always been about the gameplay. And the demo they showed, I thought wasn't too bad. Okay,
No,
it's not it didn't have all the bells and whistles that you'd expect from an next-gen machine, but it looked okay. I thought, anyway.
and I thought they had plenty of time between now and when the thing releases in November to tighten up the graphics, and they would have been fine. Because you can have 4K and 120 frames and it just pop and look amazing and still have the graphics be gritty and look like something older. So I don't
Yeah,
know why. Yeah, but I don't. That's not. It doesn't have to be, as long as you got good gameplay. That's all that matters.
to be fair, I can wait a year for it, as long as it's a good game, to be fair.
Yeah, I can wait. Like I said, I'm not. My whole buying the next Xbox had nothing to do with Halo. I'm more
Mm,
concerned with the next Gears game. How long I got to wait for it? Because I
yeah,
kind of hate the fact that there's going to be an extra year in between there. I wish they was working on it right now. I want to get through this whole Kate thing and this JD and these people and get rid of them. And
yeah.
yeah, now hopefully when they do the next three, they'll bring back the original cast somehow and do a re-imaging, kind of like what they did with God of War.
Yeah,
But I don't know why they felt they needed to not have
it
the
almost,
original characters.
it almost seemed like they realised halfway through, because they invited Felix back, didn't they? As his father,
Yeah,
and everyone got excited for that. So they realised, I think.
but he wasn't in it enough to me. He should have been some
No, not
story.
nearly enough. No.
And then they could have introduced these other characters, but he should have been the main star of it. I mean, the first game, opening up with him in that jail cell and stuff was just a stroke of genius, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah,
It just
that's
never.
fantastic.
But
I
they
love
didn't
it.
have to replace and do what they did. That's why God of War was smart. Think how would you do a God of War and not have Kratos in it? That's my thinking, and
Can't be
basically
done.
that's what they did by taking these main characters out of the game. It'd be like,
Mm,
well, that's why everybody hated the last Halo game, because you didn't get to play as Master Chief the majority of the game, and it's like, well, I'm buying Halo
yeah,
because of
yeah.
Master Chief, not anyone else. Hashtag kill Locke. They should get rid of him. I don't think they've got the balls to actually kill him, in the next game, because 343 just don't do cool stuff like that. They've just never
Mm,
made the right decisions. The right decision would be within the first 3 minutes of the game, kill Locke. Everybody would be so happy. Just kill him, and let Master Chief kill him. Or you can let him die a hero's death or something where he's fighting off, hundreds and hundreds, and he goes out
yeah,
in a battle, and then Master Chief steps in and kills them all, and
yeah.
then then we start this particular game starts up.
That's my kind of game.
Yeah, why somebody at 343 can't think like that, I don't know. Instead, they start the game off with him floating in outer space and some idiot that no one knows or cares about that's on that ship. I
Yeah.
see why some people, are pretty upset and things. And that character, yeah, I don't know that he's even necessary.
Mm,
I would have, but I don't think he's a bad character in any way. But it's just he wasn't really needed. And
yeah. It's another approach, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, they don't. The last two Halos have been quite mediocre, to be fair. I mean, like with this last one, like you say, the campaign was no good, but the multiplayer was okay. But the last game was the opposite, wasn't it? Good story mode.
yeah, they like I said, I think because this game's going to be more like Destiny as far as how they update it over time. So if with Joseph Staten there, I think they'll be great. You'll get updates and good stories. So I think it'll be fine when they release it whenever. And I hope they don't take a full year. I hope the game was a lot closer to being finished than we realized, and they get it out sometime, you know, not
Yeah,
early
maybe.
next year, but by the summer at least. Or even by the anniversary of whatever that 20-year, 25-year, what was it, 20-year anniversary. Hopefully they could have it out by then, but I don't know. No one knows. Microsoft hadn't said. Some people think it's definitely going to be a year. I don't know why they decided who come up with it. It's got to be a year, just because they brought in Joseph Staten. I don't see him rewriting that whole story. That would take forever. He's just going
In
to
a
tweak
year.
it. He's just going to tweak it, and they got plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
And then he'll, as running the show, he'll have them tweak
I think
the
that's all you
graphics
can
or
really
whatever.
do in 1 year. Really, is like you say, tweak it and polish. Really, because the storyline, it must all be set in stone by now. They've been working on it for about 4 years or so.
But yeah, it'll be fine. They're going to be fine. I'm more concerned with other games that's going to come out, and they've got all these great studios now, and I hope they buy some more. I keep waiting for announcements on that. That's what I'm more concerned with.
Yeah.
I wish they would have paid that $4 billion and bought Warner Brothers games, and now they're no longer for sale. Apparently, even AT&T has come out and said they don't want to sell now. I think after all the positive press that DC all day thing they did, fandom event, got such positive response, and all those trailers that even AT&T, who was looking just to dump them to get money to pay off their debt, was like, yeah, we better keep this crap, because these movies, we're going to get a couple of $1 billion movies if theaters come back strong. Who knows with this COVID stuff, whether how that's going to work. Tenet did pretty good overseas. It's yet to be announced. I don't know what. I don't even know if it's released yet in the States. Maybe it's this Friday it starts. But some of the movies, Bill and Ted, it didn't make nothing. And that X-Men movie, about the young X people, whatever, I don't know what it was. It made like $3 million its opening weekend, which is nothing. So we'll see, as they get more and more theaters open, and they may have to gut some of these theaters and spread out the seatings, and you may never. That could lead to like maybe giant, much bigger screens, so they can get more seats in these places that are spread out, so they can meet so-called some of the rules.
Yeah.
But I think movie theaters are just hoping that stuff all goes away once, if somebody ever comes up with a vaccine or.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing that gaming, a lot of money's been pumped into gaming during this COVID, because more people have realised gaming than ever before during this period, because it's just one of those things, TV's running out of programs and films, and but gaming's always there,
Yeah, hey, I've already started feeling the television and movies. It's like they've went a long time without pumping stuff out, not filming, and it's starting to show. It's like, wow, where's the new stuff? Well, there's not. They've not made anything in a year.
That's right.
Just now going back and doing sets, and they're doing it differently to get around all these COVID rules, like Marvel's Shang-Chi, whatever. They're filming that in Australia, but they built almost like a little city for the sets, and all the cast and all the crew, they all live there. They don't leave. Once they all flew into there, they get them there, they stay there. They're going to film the movie, and then all the sets are right there, and the whole movie will be done there, and then they'll do the post production elsewhere and stuff. But yeah, and so they already had kind of that setup in Atlanta anyway for some of the Marvel movies. So some of the stuff's being done in Atlanta the same way. They're doing that one in Australia, and they're finally going back and filming these. But the problem's going to be, the budgets. How much did they spend? If theaters are only running at 50% capacity, how they're going to make their money. I don't know. They're going to have to spend less on producing these things. Go back to more 70s or early 80s budget, and
Yeah.
maybe go back to, hey, you're not going to get your entire money back that first damn weekend. That's the problem with gaming now is they signed up for, oh, look at these blockbuster movies. They get all their money they invested back that first weekend, and then everything after that's gravy. So gaming decided they wanted to follow that same business model. So that's why when a game comes out, it made Metacritic and that other stuff so important, because whatever that game does that first weekend, or really with gaming, it's the first week. After that, they don't sell crap unless it's a certified hit. And then there'll be more, a lot more sold down the line. But games that flop that first weekend / week, they don't sell nothing after that. And gaming did that on purpose. They wanted it to, hey, if I spent 30 million on this game, I want to make it back that first weekend. I want my money. Give me my money. Give me my money. And it's a horrible business model, because a good game that used to be where a company realized, hey, it's going to take us 2 years to get our money back. And then during that third year, it'll be all profit. And they were okay with that. They put out a certain amount of games per year, year in, year out. So they always had a steady flow of income. And then when they went to this, nope, got to make it back that opening weekend. It killed companies like Capcom. They almost went out of business. Luckily, they got a couple of good games and that made money right off the bat and kind of saved them. But Konami, it literally did kill them. They were like, we're just going to go make pachinko machines and slot machines, and we're fine. We make a lot of money off that stuff, and we'll use our video game characters on those machines, and we're okay. And they've released 2 or 3 games since then, not very many, and it's sad because they were a great company in their heyday, and it wasn't because of Kojima and all that. They've had plenty of great devs there besides him, and they had tons, but they put out tons of games because they knew a game took 3 years before you were actually in the, or 2 full years before you were in the green. In that third year, they made their profit on it. And when they went to this weekend stuff and the game flops, you're screwed. It ain't making no more money. That's why we're not getting sequels to stuff, especially Xbox follows it. They're big on that opening weekend crap. They look at those numbers and they're like, yeah, we're not doing no more advertising for this game. It's done. We're not going to ever, and they don't ever make a sequel for it. They don't try. They don't push it. They're like, nope, that game's dead. But if a game's a hit and it makes money right off the bat, then they continue to push it, and yeah, it's sad. Sony's a little more lenient. I think they've been in, because they've been in the gaming business longer, and they're less, as long as they make their money at some point, they're happy. So, they know, and plus I think they feel responsibility to a lot of small Japanese devs that maybe only spend 200,000, 500,000, 800,000 on building a game. And that game, it's going to take a year just to hit like 1 million, and then they're on profit. And then they get, the next 2-3 years, and it's all profit for them. And so Sony knows they carry those games, and then they let those companies kind of been thriving with that stuff. And then occasionally they'll have like a massive hit with one of them, like Persona, and and it becomes a true AAA, whatever. But most of the stuff done is done by. This is why a lot of those Japanese companies don't want to deal with Xbox, because if this is not a massive hit right off the bat, if it's not Gears of War numbers, Microsoft don't want to mess with it, and they need to get off that. You think Phil would be smart enough to know that some games take longer to get,
Yeah.
And I think at some point, that one game just recently that's now Sony's. Oh crap! I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can visualize it.
yeah, the ones that it's almost like a. Oh,
The really good one that we can't remember.
yeah, I can look it
No,
up.
but it was a good game as well.
I own it. I didn't buy it actually. I got it when they gave it away free, and that's the problem. People don't. A lot of people don't understand. Microsoft knows every game you buy, when you play it, how long you play it for, whether you complete it or whether you quit after 10 minutes. They have all those statistics. They know it.
Yeah.
And if a game don't do well, they just won't commit to a sequel. They just won't. And yeah, that's why we didn't get very many sequels this entire generation, because games, in some cases, they got in fights with the devs because of that. The dev felt like Microsoft wasn't backing them enough, and yeah, so you had certain companies that, oh, we're not ever going to be for sale. We don't want to be bought. We like being independent. And then as soon as Sony offers to buy them, they're like, yep, buy us. Yet it was for a tiny amount of money. If they would have let Xbox buy them, they would have got triple that amount of money. But I guess they just didn't want to be owned by Xbox. But I think that's why Xbox is going out of the way now to let these companies, these devs, do what they want to do and make their own games, because they don't want to. Yeah, they don't want crap like that happening in the future.
Yeah, and they're in talks of buying more studios as well now, so that's nice.
Yeah, I hope like I said, I hope more to follow. They need a handful more, and that one that made the Flight Simulator, Sobo, they got to own them. I think they already do own them. They just never made it's not been an official announcement, but I think Microsoft does own them. I know in the past they had some studios that they didn't own, but they had like lifetime agreements that they just worked for Microsoft, and the company appeared to be their own company, but in reality they wasn't. They've owned several studios like that, or had those deals with studios like that. And some of them now, they just support studios and stuff.
Well, I'm hoping that Microsoft do some sort of announcement with the Xbox soon. I'm hearing that they've got a show in Tokyo soon.
Yeah, but the Tokyo Game Show is actually an arcade dominant gaming show. There is console stuff there every year, but it's not. It's not that. I think this is going to be about the Game Pass and the online stuff where you can play your phone on your controller anywhere. I think that's what they're going to push really hard at this Tokyo Game Show, because Japan's not totally warmed up to this. They don't have the numbers like they do, say, in Korea, which is like gangbusters there. But in this, and they want to get in that Japanese market. And
yeah, I'm hearing Microsoft are going to show up first. They're showing up first there.
Yeah, they got like a 55-minute show they're going to do, but I think again it's going to be mostly about Game Pass and.
Do you think they'll announce a price or anything to do with the new Xbox?
No, not at that show. Guaranteed. They've already said no next gen talk at it, and it's going to be in Japanese too. By the way, the Xbox show is not going to be in English.
That is not going to help me.
If you read the announcement from Microsoft, that's on there. It says the show will be in Japanese. So I'm not sure why anybody's getting excited and thinking there's going to be, no. It says no next gen talk. What's their annual show they've been doing the last couple of years? That show is where they're going to announce the price and the release date. And I don't even know when that show normally happens, but it's going to be.
Has to be soon, doesn't it? Really, we're getting quite close to launch.
Has to be in late September. Hopefully, they wouldn't wait until early October to do it. Not when the system's a month later comes out. But you never know, because they're not going to announce till Sony announces their price.
Yeah,
I think Microsoft's determined not to let Sony undercut them.
This is exactly what happened before.
They're selling the Xbox One X at $500, but they're afraid if they announce $500, Sony will say, we're at $400. Microsoft's not letting that happen this time. So if Sony goes first and they say 400, Microsoft's not going to let them undercut them.
Sure.
They'll be 400 too. Or if it's more, it won't be off by much, maybe 450 at worst, but it won't be $100 more. They're just not going to let Sony do that to them again.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm tired of waiting. This is ridiculous there. But I kind of get it. What's going on?
Who knows? Who knows what the shortages of the consoles are going to be? You know, what with this COVID, there could be a limited supply of units.
Yeah, I'm thinking Microsoft's not going to have that problem, Mobile, because they just said they did 850,000 of the green-friendly whatever consoles that were produced. So I think they've got another like 10 million, maybe 12 million that were produced the normal way. So they're going to have plenty out there. It's the PlayStation 5 I'm worried about because I wanted to get them both at launch. I've never gotten both at launch before. Although I was pretty close with the PS4 and the Xbox One. I got the Xbox One at launch, but I won it in a contest. And that's how I got that sound bar and some other stuff. So I didn't have to pay for any of that. So once it came and I realized I didn't pay anything for this stuff, and I had 3 games with it. So I went and took the money that I was going to use and then like, I'll go ahead and get the PS4 now.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see, every generation of Xbox I've tended to eventually trade in, but do you know, I don't think I will with this. I have the Scorpio version. I might just keep.
Well, after about a year, I sold that PS4, and I got full price for it. Oh, Sunset Overdrive was that game.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. And to be honest, I didn't like it. I got it through Games with Gold, but I never cared for it. And they know the numbers. A lot of people didn't even download it when they gave it away.
Wow.
You know, so it's
I thought it was a good game, but I just wasn't glued to it like most of my friends. I mean,
I didn't like the mechanics that always on that line, and
yeah,
reminded me of a skateboard type game.
Yep.
And I never liked some of those, and I didn't. Yeah, it just didn't do it for me.
I liked the art style. I thought the art style was really cool.
Yeah, it looked great. It played great, but I just don't like that kind of gameplay. That's so when they went to Spider-Man, they just we don't have to have, we can just have him on his webs and it was perfect.
Yeah, but they've got that steps. PlayStation have that Spider-Man at launch, that's for sure, isn't it? That'll be a system seller.
It'll sell like crazy, but you know what? That's just DLC, and it's not next gen. It's really, to be honest, it's a PS4 game that they're releasing on the PS5 and calling it next gen. They've punched up, the graphics, so it'll be 4K or 60 frames. You can't do both on the PS5, so that's kind of sad because all those games on Xbox will play 100% 4K. 60 hertz or 60 frames, but you're not doing that on the PlayStation with only. It's just.
Are you going to be upgrading to a new TV anytime soon, or for the next
gen? The plan was when I moved in October, I was going to buy a gigantic 86-inch television, but I have since backed off on that. Over the last few months, I've spent a crap ton of money, and moving's going to cost another whole bunch, and we'll see. I don't know if I'll get that 86-inch one or not because it wasn't even, it had an IPS screen, but it had the 2.1 HDMI, so it would have been great for gaming.
Yeah.
It wasn't an OLED and it wasn't a QLED. It used an IPS screen. It was an LG, but the price was pretty sweet. It was like $1,500 for a TV that size. Was just, I was like, I might just get that because I love movies. I don't, probably more than I do gaming, to be honest. I got a humongous movie collection, and I'm thinking that, man, with that IPS, no matter which direction, no matter where you set in the room, you see the picture perfect. You don't get that, where you can't see it when you're off to the side. Everybody in the room can see the screen perfect. And it's 4K.
Yeah.
And it's 120 hertz. So it
Mm.
covers all the features I need. It would have been
That's
fine
right.
for gaming.
Yeah, future proof.
But it wouldn't be the best picture quality because it's not OLED or whatever. But it's IPS. You never have to worry about burn in.
Yep.
But again, I don't know if I'm going to have $1,500 extra dollars. I have spent so much money, and I've been in and out of the hospital the last few months. And even though I've got great insurance that covers a butt ton of that, and I get all my medicines free, it doesn't cover everything. And so my medical bills are really starting to pile up. And I'm thinking you may not be able to go buy that $1,500 with tax. You're looking at $1,650. I just don't think I'm gonna be able to get it and get these consoles. That's another $1,000, $1,200. That's a lot. Good Lord.
I'd let these consoles settle in a little bit. Maybe give it a year or two.
I might do the plan, one of those where I finance the Xbox and just get that deal where I make payments on it, and that'll keep me on Game Pass Ultimate, and then not buy the PS5 at launch and maybe get that television. We'll see. I haven't made a hard decision yet. I've got to, it's something we'll see when the time comes. But
each day as it comes.
Right now, my 4K set's pretty awesome, and even though it's 55-inch, that's still pretty big. And the way I got it set up, I got a double wide recliner. I set pretty close to it, so it just feels big. And I got a TV on each side of it with old school gaming systems hooked up to those. I got a Super Nintendo, a Genesis, and NES on one, and then I got a GameCube and a Wii and a Dreamcast on the other one on those tubes. And then I've got all my mini consoles or classics, whatever they want to call them. I've got those all running into an HDMI switcher going to the my 4K set. They upscale pretty good, and they look good on it. And then in the living room on the bigger set, I've got a 70-inch 1080p. So straight Blu-rays and any DVDs. I don't like DVDs upscaling in the 4K, so I take them in there and watch them on the bigger screen and more movie-like. Plus, I've got an amazing sound system in there with 2 giant subwoofers and tower speakers and one of the biggest center channels you've ever seen. It's a beast. And it's not Atmos, so it's just normal. It's 7.1 or 7.2. So it's got the side surround and the back surround. It just doesn't have the overhead stuff.
That's right. Same as me.
Really nice, Harman Kardon receiver. So it's like, I don't need to upgrade the receiver or the speaker or anything right now in there. So what would I do with that one if I buy the 86-inch?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to sell it and get any kind of money that would pay back my investment in it. Although it wasn't that expensive, to be honest. It was only like $600. It's a Vizio, but and it was originally a mid-level Vizio, and it got what they call the white dot syndrome. These Vizios were buying like, I think LG was selling them screens that were crap, and they would develop like white dots you would see, usually on white backgrounds. You'd still see these white dots. And I was already past my warranty and everything, but it was apparently they had such an issue with it that even past your warranty, they gave me a new set. But the set I got, they didn't make anymore. So I got the newest, their level set that they sent me. And it's, I've been using it ever since. And luckily it's not got that white dot crap. So it's been a beast, and it's 70-inch. So I don't need to really change it out. And the difference between 1080p and 4K is really not that big a jump, to be honest. Because I've got a 4K set. I know what stuff look like on it. Sometimes I'll take the same movie. Because now when you buy a 4K movie, it's pretty cool. You get the Blu-ray with it. God, I hope they keep that up too. It's really nice. And I'll take the Blu-ray in there and put it on the big one and kind of look. And it's like, Not a lot different. Yeah, it's really not. And the same thing, if I put that same Blu-ray into my 4K player, whether it's the Xbox or I've got a Samsung 4K Blu-ray player, and I'll let the television upscale it to 4K, it's hard to tell the difference. It really is.
Yeah.
Some things, you see a little bit of a difference, but Blu-rays, when done right, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's cool, man. Sounds like you're kitted out.
Yeah. And like I said, I love big, so I still may get that 86-inch when the time comes, and move the 70-inch. God, I'd have to put it in my bedroom, where it's well, I can't put it in the spare bedroom, but I've got that old 720p TV, and it's a 60-inch, and it has a big stand. It's like, it's not super thin like modern HD TVs are. It's fat at the bottom, thin at the top.
Yeah.
But it sits on a stand that came with it, and that sound bar I was telling you about fits perfectly right under the screen. And
yeah, nice.
I'm keeping that one just for old DVDs to have. But so I don't have a place to put my 70-inch, and I'm not going to try to sell it because I wouldn't be able to get enough money. But so I'd have to put it in my bedroom. I don't know if I want a 70-inch TV in the bedroom. I've got a 50-inch TV in there right now that I never use.
Yeah.
Don't watch TV in the bedroom. I watch it out here, and then saying that, my Xbox.
How many TVs do you have, Mojo?
I got a lot, man. I got a lot. I'm gonna get rid of some of these tubes though when I move. I'm only gonna keep 2 of them. I'm gonna keep one 32-inch one that I really love. It's big and chunky, and picture quality is amazing for retro video games.
Nice. And
then I got a smaller one, a 25 or 26 Sony that I'm going to keep. And then I've got another 25, 26-inch Sony that I'm getting rid of. And then I got a 36-inch flat glass screen Sony that I'm going to get rid of. It's just so big and takes up so much space. I just can't. Yeah, I got to have it hauled away. I'm going to try to sell it or give it away, and if somebody wants it, they've got until like the first week of October, and then by then I'm going to have junk haulers come pick it up and take it away. God, I hate doing that because I hate seeing a tube go to a dump. But especially one that's that good, it didn't get played a lot. The people that bought it at the end of the HD was already a thing when they bought this TV. They didn't realize I guess they didn't foresee the future. And then they realized HD was out, and so they just put this thing in the bottom of the closet, went and bought an HD TV, and it sat there. So it don't even have 1,000 hours on the tube.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they're good for about 25,000 hours, and this thing only have 1,000. Excuse me, I sneeze. It don't have hardly any. It just looks amazing, but it's big and it's heavy, and I just takes up so much space. Right now, I've got it on just like on the right and left of my 55-inch 4K set, on the left and right of my 70-inch 1080p TV, I've got that Sony on one side, and then my 32-inch. I think it's a Toshiba. I think I don't even know what the brand of it is. I don't. I'd have to get up and walk in there, but regardless, it's 32-inch, and it's a wonderful set. So I'm definitely keeping it, and I'm going to keep the one small Sony, the 25-inch, and it's not a flat. It's weird. I'm keeping the one that's got a slightly curved screen. The other one I got is a Trinitron that's a 25-inch flat, but for whatever reason, I like the one with a little bit of a curve in the screen better. It just both Trinitrons, but I don't know, that one with the slightly curved screen stuff, the Super Nintendo and the Genesis and my PC Engine, those games just look better on it. They look great. So the one that's flat Trinitron, I'm just going to get rid of. And again, I'll put an ad in the local. Well, I'll put it on Craigslist over here to see if I can sell it. But I only need 2 for my retro gaming, and I do need at least 2 because you can't hook up 15 consoles to one TV. It's just too much trouble.
Too much trouble.
Too much wiring, and yeah, I like moving stuff around, and so I like to keep, I'll have one switcher per setup, and then I can have 5 or 6 consoles to each TV. But now that I went on these minis, to be honest, I haven't been playing any of my original ones anymore. I just use those minis because you hack them and you can have every game that for that system on it.
Yeah.
And up until I got this Neo Geo Arcade Pro controller, and I've been having problems. They have a great hack for it. You can even get Capcom CPS 1, 2, and 3 games put on it, and then they're on your joystick. It's great, but I haven't been able to get mine to work. I keep asking people at the site where you download the stuff to give me some help, but they keep telling me to watch videos, and I watch the videos, and they never quite show you exactly how to do it.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. Well, I shall think I have to make a move now, Mojo, but it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and end the show on that. It's been perfect. We were kind of getting off topic anyway. We discussed the one main topic on the whole price and why they haven't done it yet, and I think they just haven't done it because Microsoft doesn't want to be undercut by Sony again. I think Absolutely. They were so embarrassed last time when they said 500, and Sony immediately pulled that camera out of the box and said, "Oh, no, we're at 400." And Microsoft was like, and then Sony took off selling like hotcakes, 2 to 1 over them. And I think Microsoft made the decision they were not going to let anything like that happen again. So they're going to force Sony to go first, and then they'll whatever Sony sells theirs at, they're going to come in at the same price, and they know they'll be outsold. I mean, Sony is going to be in more markets, although this time I think with the Series X and Series S, Microsoft's actually adding a bunch of markets that the Xbox One was never in, but they're still not going to be in nearly the amount of markets that Sony's in. Sony's had those deals forever in small areas all around the world when they were just selling receivers and Walkmans and things like that. So they already had a distribution network set up before they ever had the PS1 ever came out. And Microsoft's just not had that. And
when it comes to marketing, Sony seems to be.
The reason we don't have a price yet is because they're not going to be undercut. And the reason Sony's not announced yet is because they want to undercut Microsoft. They want to wait. Hey, if Microsoft goes 600, we can still sell theirs at 500 and make a fortune.
Yeah,
but they're waiting, because they want to undercut Microsoft by at least $100. But I don't think Microsoft's going to let them do it.
No, not this time.
It's But anyway, we'll end the podcast now. It's great having you. Hopefully, I don't know if he'll be here next week or within a couple of weeks. We'll have Jon Snow 117. His avatar, he's big on Twitter. His avatar's Master Chief with some like Jon Snow looking like a cape thing on him, and he's an Xbox guy, but it'll be cool. There'll be 3 of us.
Lovely. I'll be looking forward to that.
It'll be me and you. We can do a 2-man show, kind of like I said Jez Corden does with Randall Thor. So I'm good with that. I'm good. I would have done it all by myself if I had to. Just to get it started. You got to start somewhere. If we're on every week and we're consistent, we will build up an audience. I mean, we didn't have hardly anybody watching live today, but that's fine. I'll post afterwards on Twitter, and some people will watch it, and then we'll.
Yeah, man, that was my pilot, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
From now, 6 months from now, a year from now, we'll be hitting that like 1,000 people watching while we're on the line and stuff. You do the show, and you do it consistently, they will come. All right, man.
All right, buddy.
I'll keep in touch with you, and we'll see you next week for sure.
Yeah, sure. It's been great. I'll catch you later, buddy.
Catch you later. All right. Bye, everyone. This is the end of the very first episode of BDXP. Temporary name for now, but Best Damn Xbox Podcast. We'll see you later.